Hi, Viviana.
Hello, Leilani.
How are you doing?
I'm well and I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm grateful you've come. So Viviana, also a dream worker and co-hosting the podcast Healing Dreams Project, is going to share a dream with us, and we'll be doing some projective dream work. So I will listen and have my own imagined version of Viviana's dream, and everybody else listening will have their imagined version. And then I'll ask my questions and share my reflections in first person, as talking about it as though it's my dream. And then Viviana, you can let us know, how it strikes you, and that's how we'll find out what's true for you, is your own inner knowing about it.
I've
Okay.
been watching your whole series and I just wanted to let everyone know to watch these. I mean, it's incredible work that you're offering and that I'm in love with how you do it. So it's
Mm,
truly, I highly recommend this. So,
thank
um, yeah, I've chosen a dream that has two recurring themes embedded into one. It's just like I repeatedly dream this. So
you.
this dream happened maybe, I'd say within a month ago, but I am my 20-year-old self sort of thing in the dream. It's called Lost Kitty and Can't Find My Room. I'm in a dorm summer music camp situation. Squeaky, my cat, got out and I'm going crazy because I can't find her. Then I get locked out of my room. I'm riding a bus, checking out the landscape. When I get back to the dorms, I don't have my key. There's a rehearsal going on. Somehow I get roped into a dance with a faceless guy who thought I was flirting with him. I leave the rehearsal hall. I still don't have the key to my room. I ask a teacher if she could let me into my room, but she also couldn't find my room. My next door neighbor showed me where my room was, and finally I could get in. However, my cat was not in the room, and I totally lost it. And that's when I woke up.
Mm, okay. Hmm. So, what are the recurring themes here?
This dream happened when I landed in Fort Lauderdale, and I thought I was going into a hotel situation, but I'd reserved the wrong day. And so I was in a panic. It was 9:30 at night and there were no Ubers and oh my God, it was just, anyway, so that's my frustrating reality
Hmm.
and dream. So the fact that I couldn't find my room,
Yeah.
um, and there are obstacles along the way. So it's the energy feel for me is frustration. And
Hmm.
I have a lot of it in my waking life and I have a lot of it in a ton of it in my dreams. And then the
Hmm.
lost kitty, like the loss of something that I adore and love is
Yeah.
something that happens a lot in my dreams.
Hmm. Okay. And the is not being able to find my room. So in my version, imagining myself as the dreamer, is not being able to find my room or where I'm supposed to go a recurring theme also, or more the feeling of frustration?
It's the feeling of frustration. Often it's I can't find the stage and I'm on and they're calling my
Mhm.
name and I'm like I'm stuck in a labyrinth backstage,
Yeah.
or I'm supposed to get to a concert and I'm stuck in traffic. It's that kind of feeling
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
knowing that I need to get somewhere,
Yep.
then feeling the obstacles.
Yeah. Okay. And that is also a familiar feeling in waking life. Is that what you were saying? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, what about being about 20 or going to a summer camp kind of situation? Any strong memories or associations that come up with that time or that setting?
Mm, perhaps I was maybe more carefree. Um, it was always super fun. These summer camps were always in beautiful places. And I did have a cat then, and in my dream, it was the name of my current cat, but at the end of the dream, it was the name of my cat back then. So,
Oh,
so there was that as well.
hmm.
So it's funny. I feel like so much has changed, yet everything's still the same too.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of balance.
What's the name of the cat from back then?
Sambo.
Sambo. Okay. So Squeaky and Sambo. And how about them? Like what's Squeaky like? What does Squeaky mean to me? And also about Sambo, any similarities or differences there?
Well, Sambo was black and white, and he had super long hair, and he used to sleep right here next to me. They're both
Hmm.
very affectionate kitties. And my current Squeaky has long black hair, and she's also she sleeps right next to me as well every night.
Hmm.
So uh,
Hmm.
just they're my heart. I mean, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So what would it mean to lose Squeaky, to lose track of Squeaky?
It's hard. Yeah, huge sense of loss. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's like smashing my heart.
Yeah. And is there any sense in the dream of why Squeaky is lost?
I think she just gets out. She escapes.
Okay. So it's not so much that I don't lose her. It's not like my carelessness necessarily. She herself wants to get out.
Squeaky got out,
Okay.
so it was on her own.
Okay.
But she is always on my watch. So
Hmm. So if Squeaky were to get out in waking life, would I feel responsible for that?
yeah, one day I actually thought that she did get out.
Uh-huh.
I don't feel this responsible as much as just the loss.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if she gets out, she gets out. It's more the pain of having lost something incredibly dear to me.
Yeah. So, so dear that even the thought of the loss is like painful.
Very
Yeah.
tender. Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very painful.
Hmm. Okay. So there's a couple of things, if this were my dream, that it's bringing into full focus for me. The feeling of frustration. Like I'm supposed to be able to go somewhere and do something. I've got somewhere like I know the destination, but I can't get there. And in this dream specifically, I'm missing the key, which I love when keys show up in dreams because the the mechanism of having the key to the lock, and I have to have the right key to get in, but also the way we use the word key metaphorically, like this is key. So it makes me wonder what key this dream has for me. Um, and then it's also bringing into focus this very strong bond that I feel, that I felt when I was 20 and that I feel now, kind of two different beings, but a similar role in my life, and the tenderness and potential loss and pain of disconnection there. So it feels like both of those are being held up for me to see more closely through this dream. Um, do you want to say anything about that? Does that?
No, I'm just affirming that that's true. They're both sort of, usually they're on separate tracks. And I
Uh-huh.
chose this dream specifically because they're both together, both those themes. And
Yeah.
it's just uncanny how often I dream of the frustration and of the loss.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes it's a loss like from my 20s of somebody I was dating,
Hmm.
or animals. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. So is 20s like a time of life that comes up a lot in dreams?
Yes, but that's not exclusive. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just want to kind of feel into more why this setting,
Mm,
right? Because I'm getting these two energies, these two qualities of experience that repeat a lot for me in dreams and in waking life.
mm,
But this time the dream has chosen to show these to me at a summer music camp where I should have a room and I have a neighbor and I have a teacher and um, why here, right? So these times were always in a beautiful place. They were very fun. What else? Anything else?
yeah, I guess the loss was more of a theme back then, more than
Mm-hmm.
now. I haven't had it in a while,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it keeps coming up in dreams. So,
Yeah,
but it's always, yes, it is. I guess it is me in the past because I used to feel that that pain, the
yeah.
tenderness, a lot
Mm.
more back then for some reason. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So that
And
is
is that
that it came up with me, my 20-year-old self. Yeah.
mm, does that feel present right now as we talk about the dream?
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
closer to the surface. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess also as an astrologer, I'm a little worried about some upcoming transits. So I wonder if somehow I'm preparing myself for some sort of loss. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The impending loss, right? Kind of the poignancy, maybe. Yeah.
Well, in a way, during the grand pause, I did lose everything.
Mm.
I lost so much. I mean, oh, I did lose a kitty then too.
Oh,
My other kitty. And then I lost, my ability to travel and
yeah.
perform. And I lost my mobility because I was in a car accident. Broke
Oh,
my femur. It broke my face. I don't have vision on my left eye anymore. So there was a lot of loss there too.
a lot of loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though I think it was harder in my 20s, but I still the losses continue.
Yeah.
Mm.
So one way I'm wondering about this dream, which I haven't talked about so much in these live sessions, but is more as a way of the body, mind, spirit letting us know where the energy is and where it's blocked. Uh,
Mm.
and from a Chinese medicine perspective, if we just take the word frustration and the word loss, we're right there in the springtime wood energy, which the emotion of springtime and wood in terms of the five elements is anger and any variety of that irritability, frustration, feeling pressured that like I'm trying to get somewhere and I can't get there is the epitome of like the blocked wood energy. And then metal is all about loss and grief. It's the autumn season, it's the falling away of the leaves, and it's also the enhanced, even more radiant, even more poignant beauty just before things are gone, like the way the leaves change.
Mm.
And we associate the metal element in the autumn season with the radiance of sound and light. So I keep feeling like the metal flute and that particularly radiant, resonant sound of a flute, that's like got such a metal, it's such a metal way of being in the world. Also, like to be on stage and to be seen. This is getting further into the five element associations, but metal is also responsible for our boundaries, our protection, so exposure and vulnerability, being seen or being hidden, kind of the sparkle of wearing jewelry or just decorating ourselves beautifully in any way is like a metal quality. So, if we were going to go into an acupuncture treatment from this dream, I'd be thinking about, wood energy and metal energy. And in life also kind of wood, it has to do with my visions for the future and being able to move forward and vision literally, right, the eye, and metal with kind of what I'm letting go. So feels like these two energies are like, here I am. They are, and they're literally the pivot also. Wood rises and metal falls. So in the body, the upward energy and the downward energy. Yeah.
So interesting. I don't have any familiarity with the Chinese perspective, lens, as you like
Yeah.
to say, and I'm loving it. It's
Mhm.
wow, interesting, super.
Did any of that in particular stand out to you and feel like,
Well, the fact that I am always with this metal,
yeah,
um, and the fact that you could um, pinpoint it to the frustration was wood. Is that right?
yeah,
And then the metal was loss.
yeah, hmm
So that's a new concept for me. But I like I would like to research that, and
yeah.
what would be the antidote for those two then in
Well,
Chinese?
yeah, so they balance each other.
Ah,
They're so we have fire at the top, which is like the full flourishing of summer, and we have water at the bottom, which is the condensing of winter. And then it's wood that rises, usually on the left, and metal that falls. So the frustration goes with wood rising and the loss goes with metal falling. So they actually complement each other and balance each other out. But one thing about, seeing everything in this way, that everything is a breath expanding and contracting, is everything is in relationship with everything else in some way or other. So it may be that another place in the cycle is where it would most benefit me, if I, stay in the projective format here, most benefit me to put some attention. So um, water, for example, water is in life. Let's stick with lifestyle things because I don't have you here to like work with physically, right? But water is quietude and rest and deep reflection, connection with awe and mystery. So metal feeds into that. Like if I can move the energy of loss and grief kind of along in the cycle, I come to this water place. And then water nourishes wood. It gives me the ability to have more sense of purpose and vision and forward momentum. So it might be that I want to come to water. But another thought is to go the opposite pole to fire, which is all about joy and connection and community and laughter and creative expression. That's what that frustrated energy, that blocked wood, wants to feed into. And then that in turn will allow us to turn the corner again. So that's my instinct. Hearing this dream and this energetic dynamic is like, oh, I don't necessarily need to go express my frustration or make a new vision for my life or um, really, sink deep into the losses. But what if I went to one of these other places that helps it move? You're nodding. Tell me what's resonating for you.
well, my number one passion is swimming in my ocean.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I just, or any river or body of water or lake, or I'm just
Yeah.
so all about that. And I just went camping yesterday, the night before, and I love my evening fire before I go to sleep.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, I had no idea what you're relaying to me. Is my first time to hear this, but it would make sense with my
Yeah.
urges, my inclinations to never, like, I'm always wanting to go in my water, and I
Yeah.
love fires. I mean, I just, when I can have both at the same time. I stayed in a cabin recently, a month ago, that was by a river and it had a fire, and I was just like,
Uh, Heaven. Yeah.
so it's interesting.
Great.
It's new,
Yeah.
a
So
new, I don't know, new concepts for me for sure.
So, since those are already such good, strong resources, like already known to be supportive elements that, in my imagined version of your dream and my imagined version of your life that I go to, like, yes, give me the water. I feel better with water. Yes, I feel better with fire. I might bring some of these feelings to that setting. I might allow that very tender feeling of loss to come up in my body, to come up through my tears before my next swim in the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
and bring it to that place that's so resourcing and helpful for
Mm-hmm.
me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the loss,
Mm-hmm.
the antidote would be the water.
Yeah, more than antidote, I'm thinking about movement.
Okay, to
Because
move it.
everything needs to keep moving. That's life. When we're alive, we're moving, and when we get stuck, that's
It's also,
blockage, sickness, death, right? It has to be moving. So metal and loss that moves down into water.
hmm hmm
That's the other thing that was really coming up around how knowing that there are a lot of losses um, in this time of the 20s and also just these last 2 years. Uh, I think speaking culturally, I don't actually know that much about um, your background, but in my version, like knowing, my experience and culturally, we just don't make a lot of time and space for grieving, and we definitely don't make a lot of space for grieving in community, which would be a really natural, like life-giving. That's an important part of a lot of human cultures, sustainable human cultures, right? And we carry that grief in our bodies when we don't get to move it through. So I'm really wondering about some kind of ritual, if that feels right, or expression, letter writing, weeping by the ocean, anything to say, okay, and even one at a time, these losses, like Sambo, the kitty who was lost during the Great Pause, Vision, whatever else was lost in my 20s, like maybe give each one a stone on the beach, into the water. Like, how can I say to this grief, this loss and grief energy that keeps showing up in dreams, I'm here for you. It's okay to move now.
Yeah, I do ceremonies at the ocean all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's usually with the flowers that I receive from my concerts.
Oh, beautiful.
So yeah, that sounds beautiful, perfect to include each a certain flower for a
Yeah.
certain grief that I want to
Mm-hmm.
just dispel. Or
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a really healing and positive way of working with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, a ritual that you already have, and flowers are the fire element. That's the fire phase in a life of a plant. It's all like you're like so prepared for this already with what you do. So
Huh.
yeah.
Interesting.
I'm
Wow.
just going to check our time really quick because if we can go, do you want to touch back into the dream for a couple minutes? The
Sure. Do you
specifics
want
of
me
the dream? Yeah.
to reread it or?
No, I was going to ask actually about the teacher and the neighbor, these characters who come up and the teacher can't help. Is that right? The teacher doesn't
Right.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the neighbor does. So yeah, any recollection of those characters? Do they remind me of anyone?
No, again, it was like the faceless dance partner too. They were
Mhm.
just beings that were in my life in my 20s, maybe.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, it wasn't a specific teacher, it was just the teacher from that dream music camp. So it
Yeah.
was one. In fact, most of my professors were male when I was
Uh-huh.
studying,
Yeah.
Um, so I have no recollection of that. But it is this. So okay, so to move the loss energy
Mm-hmm.
is to go into water, and
Mm-hmm.
to move the frustration is to go to fire
Mm-hmm.
because it feeds
Yeah.
the fire.
Right.
Because I would like
Right.
to release more of this frustration, which just happens in dreams constantly. Um, yeah. So, putting a specific frustration maybe on a piece of paper and then throwing it into the fire.
You got it. You got it. That's one of my favorites actually. And even to go deeper with that, to write down every frustration, even and especially the tiny ones that I think I shouldn't be frustrated about, because those are sometimes like the most repressed because we're like annoyed, that somebody didn't put the cap back on the pen, and like we know that's not worth being upset about, and so we really like push it aside, like no, 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 I'm not mad. But like let them all come into the light, let them all move so that there's no little shoulder tension or tightness in the solar plexus or whatever we do around those. Free the body up from carrying the burden of that, write it down on the paper, and then watch it burn. That's like it's a great energy
I
movement.
can't wait to do that.
Yeah, it's gonna feel good. Yeah.
Wow.
And maybe old ones too. Maybe angers from, that time in life, being about 20 years old. Because that's another one that we can carry forever, till we die if we choose not to look at them.
Right.
But the faceless dance partner, I'm curious about him too. Um, we don't we don't have time at this moment to like really dive in deep and wide with that, but I don't know if we could maybe just kind of meet him for a moment here. Any visuals of what he's wearing or what's it like to dance with him?
Again, in the dream, it was just I get roped into this dance with some guy, and then I'm told that I was the one flirting. Again, it was kind of a scenario back then that I didn't feel like I was at all. I was just being friendly and nice, and yet I would then receive the comment, "Oh, but it's your fault. You were flirting with me," and I don't know. So it's that kind of energy that I used to feel a lot when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the feeling with that, with being told it's your fault, you were flirting?
It's just annoying, and pissed off, a bit pissed off. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm looking for my cat. I don't want to dance with you right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so another variety of anger there, of
Yeah.
like sort of being treated like mistreated in some way, blamed or
Blamed, false blame, or
Mhm.
incorrect blame.
Yeah. And what's that feels like maybe an interesting trail to walk down, kind of that the romantic partner, like in a dream, right? The masculine and feminine union, and feeling like this very familiar thing of, no, I wasn't looking for that. Like I'm getting roped into this, but that's not what I was looking for. Um, but what's catching my attention most right now for me is that I'm actually looking for my cat. Like this very, very dear, intimate, sleeps on my shoulder, beloved, protected, my heart. I even call them my heart. Like that's who I'm looking for. Not this sort of faceless, I can't even relate to you. Like you don't even have a face. Like so maybe that dynamic. I'd be curious about that in my waking life. Or maybe in these older feelings of loss or anger where someone I couldn't relate to and didn't want to relate to, or it felt like I was being pulled away from the true calling of my heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Mm.
I 100% resonate with that.
Yeah.
Often I was looking for my true heart, and I'd get like, I don't know, sought out by people that were in my path for some reason, but not
Mm-hmm.
right at all for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes me wonder about how can I feel even more rooted and grounded on my path? Because as a person who makes beautiful music and is sought after for the beauty that I bring into the world and my friendly liveliness and my heart, people are drawn to this. This is my projection, obviously, but as I walk through the world with this in this body and this life, and really being on stage, which people romanticize almost no matter what is being done on stage. There's something about that, right? How do I really feel my feet on the ground and walk where I want to go, to my room, to my refuge, um, that only I should have the key to? And let all this lovely attention, all these flowers that I'm being given, like let them come my way, but not be plucked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally resonate with that as well. Um, Again, it would happen more when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that now I do follow and I'm not as pulled away as much.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just I get pulled away by my own self maybe sometimes because
Yeah.
um, because of the path is not necessarily clear because
Mm-hmm.
things are shifting and I'm feeling losses and then I have to kind of come back and go, okay, now where are we? You know, we
Yeah.
as in all of me, you know.
Yeah. Mm. Oh, so and now we're going overtime because I'm just fascinated, but I'll say one more thing, but um from through the lens of everything in the dream is me, this faceless dancer part of me is maybe that. Like I haven't I don't even know what's going on because so much has been lost and some of it was literally parts of my face. Yeah, and so is that trying to say, no, you wanted me, and take me somewhere else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that definitely resonates.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Hmm. All right. Well, as our friend Billy says, we need to bring it to an arbitrary close because we wouldn't need to. I mean, the dream would keep going for us here, but we'll at least pause on it for now. But I want to invite you to say anything else you want to say about the dream, and also if there's a way that you would like to honor this dream. You've already shared some intentions. But,
yeah. No, I definitely will do as you had recommended. Um, Throwing the petals into the ocean with the losses that I might be
mhm.
feeling,
Yeah.
and then the frustrations into the fire. I look forward to that
Hmm.
because I just want to be rid of this stuff, and I didn't quite. And it keeps appearing in my dreams, so I need to
Hmm.
figure out ways of just, as you said, to move it. And I hadn't even
Hmm.
thought of it as moving it. So
Yeah.
that was huge to even have tools to be able to move through this.
Hmm.
Actually, I'm kind of tired of the same things. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
like, oh my goodness.
That's
So this gives me wonderful tools to be able to move through all of this. So
yeah.
wonderful. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you so, so much for your dream
Thank you
and
so
all
much.
your beautiful, everything you shared. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Right.
All gratitude. Thank you.